A lot of people think that a garden falls flat or everything goes wrong because they chose the wrong plants. But in a lot of cases, I find that plant spacing is the reason that 2 or 3 years down the road that you're really struggling. The truth is, the garden can look really great when you first plant it, but if you're not thinking about the future when you're doing this, in a few years, it can look really chaotic and really messy. And spacing is the ultimate reason why this happens. So today we're going to talk about the spacing rule or rules that make garden beds look professional. And then at the end, I'm going to answer the top 3 questions I get about plant spacing. So stay tuned for that as well. My name is Amy, and over at prettypurpledoor.com, I help home gardeners design landscapes that are uniquely you. So the number one rookie mistake that I see happen with home gardeners is that they overcrowd their plants and they plant too tightly. Everything looks really great in the beginning when you put it into the ground, but then in a few years' time, it just jumbles together and it gets super messy. And I totally get this. It's really hard to think that your little tiny plants are going to grow into these massive things that you see on the plant tag, the massive sizes that you're seeing. So it's really difficult to get that right, especially if you're just standing in your garden and placing plants here and there. That's why I always recommend planning and planning for that full size that you see on the plant tag. I know that seeing an empty bed when you first plant it feels wrong. It really feels wrong at first and it feels like you're doing something wrong. But this is the way that you should be doing it if you don't want to deal with overcrowded beds that you have to redo every few years by taking plants out, splitting them, moving them around, all of those things. And that's totally fine to do if that's something that you like to do and you want to move plants around as they outgrow the space. But for most of us that want a lower maintenance garden and just want to be able to enjoy the plants that we've planted and the money that we've spent on them, overcrowding is really the biggest mistake that you can make. And the main reason for this is that plants need the ability to mature to their full size to create that structure and balance that we need in our gardens. And a lot of people are missing structure, or they're missing balance, or they're missing both. Plant spacing can help a lot with this. I think the hardest thing about plant spacing is that the issues don't show up right away. They're very sneaky and you won't see them for a few years unless you're planning properly ahead of time. So it can feel really discouraging when the garden's looking great and then all of a sudden everything is falling apart and you're like, what just happened? It looked great last year. A lot of times when you underestimate the mature size of a plant, you can run into all kinds of problems that are not just overcrowding. The biggest one that I see is like airflow issues where the plants aren't getting enough air to breathe and then they start looking a little sickly or dying. Sometimes this will even cause the plant to not grow to its mature size because if you have everything cram planted and packed in there, a plant that might say that it's going to grow 3 feet on the plant tag, because of all the root competition and all the plants around it, it's competing for nutrients, it's competing for space, and it won't grow to the size you want it to, and it might just not look good or not bloom as well either. And of course, there's the balance and the scale issues that show up later. These can happen because you overplanted and they don't have the room to grow, or you overplanted and they're not getting to the size that they probably should be. So these are all issues that come up not right away, 1 to 2 years later. And that's the hardest thing about gardening, is that when you make these mistakes, these really common mistakes that many of us make, myself included, I've done this before too, that you have to wait 1 or 2 years before you can actually see that you created a problem for yourself, and then you have to redo it, and it's just really stressful and not really enjoyable. And that's where people start saying, oh, I don't have a green thumb, and like, why aren't these plants growing? So just thinking a little bit ahead of time about plant spacing, about planning out your garden before you start, these can solve so many problems for you in the future and help you to feel a little bit more confident about what you're planning and what you're planting. So spacing in general is a future-focused design decision, and I just want to say that out loud, that designers think about these things. This is a design decision that we make. We might have to cut back on the amount of plants that we have. We might have to cut down on the variety of plants we have so that everything has the proper space to fill in and look nice years down the road, when we might not even be able to see it at that point if we're designing for a client. But this is what has to happen for them to have a beautiful space of their own. It doesn't matter if I can see it and make it look good right away. It matters 2 or 3 years down the road. Is this creating a maintenance headache for them? Or is this a space that they're enjoying and they love to see and they love to come home to every day? So if you plant a garden and it's looking a bit empty as you plant it, but you are using the information that you found online or that you've researched or that you found on the plant tag and it's looking empty, that's not wrong. That's not a wrong thing. Your garden should look a bit empty when you first plant it. There should be room for those plants to grow and to fill in. And I just want to give you the confidence to be able to say, okay, it doesn't look great right now, but in a year or two, this is going to solve a lot of problems for me. So just giving yourself that confidence to know that when you're planting everything and it's spaced out quite a bit, that's not a wrong decision. That's how it should look. So now I just want to go over the 3 most common questions that I get about plant spacing, just so that we're on the same page. I get a lot of questions about what if the plant tag says that it's going to grow 3 to 5 feet high and wide? What does that mean? And which number do you choose? Do you choose 3 feet, 4 feet, or 5 feet? And unfortunately, this isn't like a hard and fast answer I can give you. The plant spacing on the tag is based on optimal conditions. So if you have the optimal conditions for that plant, you have the full sun, you have the right type of soil, you have the right type of weather in your area, it's likely going to grow to that highest range. And this is all based on mature size of the plant. So obviously not right now. If you have kind of not optimal conditions, like your soil isn't great, or you don't have the right weather, or the sun levels are, oh, it's only getting part sun, it's not quite getting that full sun that it needs, it's probably going to be on the lower end of that spectrum. So one thing that you can do is you can go through your neighborhood and see if anyone is planting the same plant that you're looking at and just see how it's performing in their yard. It's not going to give you a hard and fast, like definite reason, because they might have different soil or light conditions or things like that. But I know in certain areas, certain plants get a lot bigger than they even say on the tag. So even posting in a local gardening group or a Facebook group that you're in for your area, a local garden club, and just asking if anyone's grown that, like how big is it getting, that might be a good help to you. But in general, if I didn't know and I thought I had the right conditions, but I'm like, I don't know if they're optimal, I'd probably go with that 4-foot range with a 3 to 5 foot spread plant. Okay, so the next question that I get a lot is what about plants that spread? Spreading plants like ground covers or things that creep along the soil. And again, this isn't something that I could just tell you with any amount of certainty. It's just that plants that spread, they behave a lot differently than other plants where you're planting an individual one and it's going to get to a certain size. It's going to depend on a lot of things like the moisture, the soil, the competition, or the root structures around that ground cover. So what I typically do when I'm designing is I make a plan and I put in all of the individual plants. I don't really put specific marks for ground covers. What I'll do is after I have all of the plants in place that I want to put in the plan, I'll draw like little blobby circle areas, and that's sort of where I put the ground cover. After I have that figured out, I might say, okay, I'm going to put 3 and put like 3 kind of X's in that blob just to show that this area is going to be filled with a ground cover. But they're going to spread over time. That's what they do. So the best thing that you can do is just research that ground cover or spreading plant that you're looking at and make sure that you understand how it will work. Will it spread aggressively? Will it spread just a little bit? Will it kind of stay contained? Is it invasive in my area? Make sure you don't plant anything that's invasive where you live, and just go from there. So creating a little area with a little blob and then saying, okay, this looks like I can maybe fit 3 of these ground covers in here, or maybe put 1 in the beginning and then divide it over time to fill in that gap a little bit more. Okay, so the third question, which is probably the most common question, is won't I get weeds if my plants are spaced out so far apart? So yes, you will. Anywhere there is bare soil in your garden, you will get weeds. If you don't choose what to plant in that area, then Mother Nature is going to choose that for you. So there's a couple things that you can do. The first one is sheet mulching. I have a video on my channel about how to do that, where you lay cardboard down to kind of suppress the weeds for that first year. You can also use a thick layer of mulch. Just be careful about putting that near your baby plants and make sure they have some space, but 3 or 4 inches of mulch. You can also use a living ground cover. So sedges work really great for this, but anything that can fill the soil in, and basically you're deciding what to plant instead of Mother Nature deciding what to plant for you. Those work really well. They're really functional layers of the landscape, and I always try to include ground covers in all of my designs. And not necessarily spreading ground covers. Like I said, you could use little grasses or other plants that might fill in over an area. Another really great option is just choosing some annuals that will fill in for that first year. Annuals grow really quickly. They can look beautiful very quickly and fill in that space. So while you're waiting for all of your other plants to mature, try filling in with some annuals, or like I said, a lot of mulch, sheet mulching, or living ground cover. And just remember that professional looking gardens don't look that way from day one. They actually grow into their design. So you're not doing anything wrong when you have those spaces. If you want a more technical rundown of plant spacing, how far to space things from your house, how far to space plants apart, I already have a video on this channel that's all about that. So I'm going to leave a link to that right here, and I'll see you over in the next video.